Alright, guys, we are back in business. Anyways. Alright. Alright. So let's start talking about this. So New Orleans Saints training camp begun yesterday. Let me go through the stream. Alright. Alright, we're live. Alright, good. The comment section. Alright, good. Comment section works. Looks good. Anyways, now let's get started talking about training camp. Alright. Let's get started. So let's start with the elephant in the room. So key takeaways. Kendre Miller suffered an injury yesterday. So, alright. Kendre Miller got hurt. Okay, so I'm gonna let Dennis Allen talk to you about that. Or not. Okay. Well, yeah, so Kendre Miller ended up pulling a hamstring. How bad do I think it is? I don't think it's going to be that bad.
We're only out here about an hour and a half due to the NFL rules. But I thought
The thing's kind of low, so.
It's a good start.
Thing's kind of low. All right. So, yeah, let's talk about Kendre Miller first. So, Kendre Miller suffered a hamstring injury. And this kind of sucks because he's a second-year running back or is going into a second year. That's not what you want to see, especially from a guy who had a pretty good rookie season, all things considered. You know, he showed lots of fight, showed lots of heart last year. So seeing him get hurt is not good. What up, Jerry? How you doing? Yeah, sorry. I was getting something under control. So yeah, let's talk about Kendre Miller for a second. Yeah, so Kendre Miller, he's hurt. That kind of sucks. You know, obviously, I'm a big fan of Kendre Miller. I projected him to be our number 2 running back behind Kamara this upcoming season, and to be our number 1 back when Kamara does hang it up. But I did not intend for this to happen. Like, why do all of our players get hurt? Mikey, if you want to churn on subscribers only mode, you can. All right. Well, one question, Jerry. How do I turn that on? Let me know how I can turn it on, and if I can't do it this stream, I will next stream. Just let me know how I can, because like I'm kind of new. Like, even though I've been streaming for like since the end of last year, I'm still kind of like new to all this system working. So yeah, you can just tell me how I can do that, and maybe I'll get it to being on subscriber mode. All right. Yeah, Kendre Miller, he's injured. You know, that's going. I think you go to YouTube. All right, I will next stream. Okay, I will next stream. So I'll let the trolls in here for one more stream. Then, if I can't figure it out, then we're just gonna have to ride with this. So yeah, Yeah. Just letting you know. Okay. But yeah, Kendrick Miller, he's hurt. That is not what you want to see, especially somebody who showed great promise last year. That still sucks. That man played like prime Alvin Kamara last year. You never want to see him get hurt. In fact, hold on, I'm about to look that up actually. Yeah. All right. All right, let's see here. Yeah, control. All right. All right, hold on, guys. I'm gonna try one. Let me try some real quick. Um, well, all right. All right, I'll figure that out afterwards. Anyways, so back to this. The Saints training camp started yesterday, right? Kendrick Miller, he's hurt. That's definitely not what you want to see. All right. Miller showed some good promise last year. So yeah. Anyways, let's go over the top storylines and some predictions for the Saints training camp. All right, all right, here we go. So this is from. Hey Jalen, how you doing? Oh yeah, I'm not paying $1. I don't care. You can call me cheap. I'm not paying $1 for that. Anyways, yo, who Jalen? I know. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna pull this up actually. All right, so Saints explanations for lack of fans at California practices don't add up. I mean, I think it adds up pretty well. You're in California. I ain't going out there in hot weather. I can barely go when it's down here in New Orleans. 32 NFL teams. Let's see. I'm good. How about you, man? I'm good, Jalen. All right. 32 NFL teams are practicing at training camp on Wednesday, and 31 of them have fans in attendance in some form or fashion. The New Orleans Saints are okay. What just happened? Get that off my screen. All right. The New Orleans Saints are the only team that has totally closed its training camp to the public this summer. We've gotten a couple of different answers from team leadership on why that is, but their responses don't add up. A cohesive statement. Red Swarm said, "What's good, Mike? Hey, I know you don't like the Falcons, and that's cool. I hate your Saints, but I subscribe to your channel as I want to see my young brother reach your goals." Thanks, Red Swarm. Yeah, like I don't hate you. I just hate your football team. Okay. Yeah, I wish bad things upon your football team, but hey, you're welcome here. Yeah, and you can even rep your Falcons if you want to. I'm probably gonna boo, but your call. Um. Anyways, all right. Let's see. What's up, Dad? How you doing? Shout out to my dad. He's in the chat. What's up? Yeah. Okay. Now where was I? All right. So yeah, the New Orleans Saints are the only team that has totally closed its training camp to the public this summer. Oh, that's the spirit, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I have passion. We've gotten a couple of different answers from me. Okay, I already read that. All right. Let's start with Dennis Lasser. The Saints team president was the first to answer the question. When asked about it in May, saying that as far as he was aware, NFL marketing rules wouldn't be a problem for having fans at training camp. Okay. I think that rule maybe pertains more to sponsorship. Lasucha said, I definitely, F Falcons. I definitely botched that name. During a recent press conference, I can tell you we have a great relationship with the Rams and the Chargers, and that's not I don't have a great relationship with the Rams, and that's not an issue for us that I'm aware of. I think there is some plans to have fans at training camp. I don't know if it's going to happen based on the layout at UC Irvine, and what's happening there. All right. Fast forward a few months, and the Saints never got around to revealing those plans. Lusher hinted at. They did announce that they'll hold 2 open practices at the Caesars Superdome and Ullman Stadium upon returning to New Orleans in August. But it's not the same. When head coach Dennis Allen was asked about moving training camp to Los Angeles, he mainly focused on the weather and construction in Metairie rather than any fan considerations. The Red Swarm says, like father, like son, and that's it. Look, Saints fans were taught to hate the Falcons, and Falcon fans were taught to hate the Saints. So I don't really think it's a like father, like son situation. I just think it's screw the Falcons situation. But yeah, you're open to your own opinions. Like, I ain't gonna force you to be a Saints fan on this channel. All right. Obviously, being away from home and away from our fans in New Orleans, obviously that's the tough part about being out here in California for this training camp, Allen answered. He acknowledged that moving camp to a new environment can help with the team-building culture, but ultimately the work in Metairie was what forced their hand. But yet, I don't think you have to come up to California to change the culture. Got to keep this good old Falcon Saints rivalry alive. Yeah, man, look, I have a series that started last year, my first year on YouTube, and I have a playlist that you can go check out. It's called The Falcons Hate Me. I only did the first time. I was gonna do the week of week 18, but I decided not to because I was not even focused that we were playing the Falcons. I was like, okay, so we got to get into the playoffs this way. I wasn't even focused on the rivalry that week. I was just focused on, okay, how can we get into that was all I was thinking about. Okay, so yeah, so I have a series called Falcons Hate Week. Okay, and basically that series I just go through 7 straight days talking about the Falcons. It's time I started, I don't really call it original, but nobody was really doing stuff like that, especially for 7 straight days. All right, cool. I'll be sure to check the playlist out, little bro. Yeah, man, like that's funny. I started talking about Taylor Heineken, that thing. And was who's better than Desmond Ritter. All right, he continued. Certainly the facility upgrades was going to be a challenge to hold a training camp with all the things that are going on. I mean, we've got a fence in our indoor facility that makes it difficult to use the indoor. I looked at the forecast. I think it's going to rain for the next month in New Orleans, so that would have made it even more challenging. All those things came together and led to this. Yeah, I mean, the weather, look, it's been raining the past few days, and we would have canceled a lot of – someone just got home. Yeah, we would have canceled a lot of practices if it was down in New Orleans. Like, look, I looked at some a couple months ago. The New Orleans Saints are the #1 NFL team when it comes to rain in their city. I don't know if it's a New Orleans thing or if Mother Nature just freaking hates us. Anyway, so yeah. And then came Mickey Loomis, who most directly addressed the issue. He says the Saints decided early on that And then came Mickey Loomis, who most directly addressed the issue. He says the Saints decided early on that they wouldn't be hosting fans at the UC Irvine practice field. Man, I can't wait to get my glasses soon. Oh my gosh. All right, but yeah. Okay. So yeah. But I don't think the Saints would have had any fans anyway, even if it was open to the public. Not that the Saints don't have fans, it's just because it's in California. People can barely go to the practices when it's in New Orleans because it's super hot. Trust me, I would know. All right. I think for us here, we're away from our home market. We're not expecting a lot of fans. We weren't expecting a lot of fans. It's just a venue. All the logistics that are involved. It's significantly more logistics that are involved when you open it up to the public as to when you don't go all those factors into play. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Remember when we went a couple years ago? It's freaking. Oh yeah, I do remember that. I remember when we went to training camp a couple years ago. Yeah, It was fun, but man, we ended up leaving like before the training camp was even over. Like, look, I can go to a Saints game because we're in a dome and it's not as hot. I'm pretty sure there's air conditioning in the dome. If there's not, well, I know it's not as hot, but training camp, you're outside. No, like, I can't deal with the heat. Man. I can barely. I was outside for 2 minutes earlier, and I already felt like going inside, man. That. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. I didn't really do much inquiry about what we were allowed to do with the fans or not allowed to do. Loomis admitted during his opening press conference because pretty quickly we determined that hey, it's going to be a limited amount of people at practice. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's a wrongful assumption. It's a couple of wrongful assumptions. Saints fans were so well represented at joint practices with the Chargers in 2019 that they weren't allowed to attend the next round of exercises in 2023. Sure, maybe only a couple hundred people or a couple hundred fans will be willing and be able to make it to the Saints training camp every day this summer, but Loomis couldn't be bothered to make it happen. Honestly, I think that was the right move. I don't like, dude. They could have not shut training camp down to the public, and yet people would probably still not go. Unless there's some diehard Saints fans over there in California, which I won't be surprised about. Like, no, just I know if I lived in California and I was still a Saints fan, I would not even think about going because I believe it's also hot there in California as well. Zeus said, "All right, the logistics he's talking about, like paying for, what, you loony, okay, like paying for on-site security, medics, food and beverage vendors, and other amenities weren't something Loomis was interested in. The Saints were valued at more than $4 billion last year, and they're currently paying north of $41.4 million in dead money for players not on their roster, but Loomis couldn't find room in the budget for a couple of Los Angeles food trucks and some daytime security service, and maybe a standby ambulance if someone gets overheated." All right, so basically what they're talking about is that the Saints, man, so yeah, like, look, they have to pay for stuff for their training camp, so they kind of moved it from New Orleans to California. And yeah, so people, like the public eye, they won't be able to um see the Saints training camp. All right. All right, let's see. All right, so the Las Vegas Raiders are under similar restrictions when holding camp in the area, but at least they put the effort into compromising with the Rams and Chargers to bring in 140 to 200 fans, all season ticket holders who live in Los Angeles area. Per day, the Saints could have done something. Loomis acknowledged that he chose not to do anything for the team supporters in California or those who would have made the trip from further out. Yeah, like, look, the Saints, man, look, obviously we're from New Orleans, not from California. So yeah, the Saints, I think, yeah. Yeah, I think the Saints from California, I think they will be, look, they're obviously going to play the games in New Orleans. Why did they pick California, though, out of all places? Why did they pick California? Sure, this time will tell. And it's not like UC Irvine can't host a crowd. The Saints specifically chose this venue because the Rams have been using it for training camp for many years. The Rams estimated that almost 100,000 spectators visited their 10 open practices in the summer of 2022. That still don't answer my question. Why would you, like, okay, the Rams used it. I don't want to be in the same boat with the Rams. I don't. What? What? Anyways, man, I love you. Go. All right. let's see. Okay, so even if the NFL's go up. Okay, what's going on here? All right, here we go. Even if the NFL's marketing rules were a problem, which Lusha says he didn't know about, and which Loomis says he didn't care about. And even if UC Irvine's campus would have restricted attendance, which didn't stop nearly 10,000 Rams fans from showing up every day, this all could have been avoided by not going there in the first place. Yeah, I mean, look, the Saints, look, they're in California. So yeah. Anyways. All right, the Saints. I said go down, stupid computer. All right, the Saints could have gone anywhere in America for training camp, and when they were deciding on that, their fans were not a priority. That's messed up. Mild weather in Southern California was the concern, not whether the people who invest in their team can make the trip. If Loomis, Lusha, or Allen would just say that, at least you could respect the honesty. Instead, it's being spun as something that was mostly out of their hands, so far or far enough out of their hands to where they didn't feel compelled to fight it. Yeah, man. Like, come on, man. Bro. Saints, man, you really didn't think about us, man? We're the only reason that y'all even just... You know what? Let me get past that. Anyways. All right. Woo! Man, I just love talking about the Saints, man. And I can't wait for football season, man. A lot of questions have been raised about the Saints' quality of leadership in their 3-year playoff drought. Unforced errors like this one, alternating alienating the team from its fan base, suggests those leadership questions extend to the front office. And that's the end of the article. Yeah, man, look, the Saints, man, they've done everything to try to piss us off. Every single damn thing. Like, what? Come on, man. The Saints, right, why did you choose California? Like, you said it's because of the Rams. Like, what does the Rams have to do with our decision? What? Like I said, I wouldn't go anyway, but some fans would have probably attended. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways. Alright, what do we... Alright. Let's see. Can, did the computer work today? Not tomorrow? Hey, shout out to my guy, Jay. Yeah. Like, I saw Zeus was in the chat, and I was like... Yeah, I saw he was in the chat, and I was like... What? Anyways, I don't pay attention to that bot. He's a bot anyway. He's always been a bot. He always will be a bot. He just wants attention. Like, he just wants attention, and I ain't giving him his attention. All right, Saints training camp day 1. Obviously, this was yesterday. Everything you need to know, and me too, because never mind, we can't read that article. Whatever. Let me just... All right, let's talk about Alvin Kamara now. Obviously, he was the main voice yesterday. Alvin Kamara brings a refreshing voice of transparency to Saints training camp. That's why man. I couldn't be doing this without you, Jerry. As Alvin Kamara joined his teammates for the first day of practice at New Orleans Saints training camp, and his contract was obviously a large part of the discussion. He spoke with the media afterwards and didn't dodge any questions. That's my running back right there. Instead, he gave answers full of description. At one point, he even discussed what he was looking for in that contract, without giving an exact range and the lack of communication from each side. This is no surprise. This is no surprise. There's been a greater spotlight put on Kamara's comments over the last year. In the midst of a frustrating season, fans gravitated to Kamara's interviews because of his honesty. Kamara did a good job of speaking on frustration going on while not airing anyone out specifically. Yeah, that's what he does. Fans obviously frustrated my last year's, and this is from Kamara, by the way. All right. Fans obviously frustrated my last year's result. Were able to connect to this, or maybe it's not Kamara. I don't know. It was appealing to hear someone in the locker room be as upset as they were. It's also refreshing to receive such transparency. Kamara did not or didn't hold back on how deep the offensive dysfunction ran. Yeah, man. Look, the Saints' offense the last couple of years have been stagnant. Man, like a lot of people were like, "Look, I love Drew Brees more than like just as much as the next guy," and a lot of people were saying, "Man, why do you want Drew Brees back? That man, like he was struggling throwing the ball, like." And I was like, the man went 12-4 in his last year, and he was like, "Yeah, but it was kind of a weak 12-4. I don't care how the 12-4 came. There is no amount of money I wouldn't be willing to give up if we can go back to the boring offense that was winning games. If we would just go back to check down Brees, because at least then we would be winning." And Derek Carr, he tried his best to be a check down merchant. Didn't really work. Now did it? Anyways, so he revisited this point again at his training camp press conference. This time he spoke from the point of view of improvement under new leadership. Overall, I feel good about where we're going. I feel there's energy we've been missing here the last 2 years, Kamara said. I hope you're right. Kamara criticized the leadership of the past offensive regime, acknowledging that you don't fire people for no reason. Last year, there were too many things being swept under the rug. He called the hiring of Clint Kubiak a breath of fresh air. Kamara is already seeing the changes from the top down with an emphasis on what he described as intentional help. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Saints, man. Alvin Kamara, look, we got to get that boy locked down, man. That man doesn't really have much time left, so we got to get that man. Like the first Saints jersey I owned was Drew Brees. Then I owned Aaron Brooks. But Alvin Kamara right now was the first jersey I got that is still active right now. At the time, it was Drew Brees. But to be honest, the Drew Brees jersey and the Aaron Brooks jersey was kind of like lend-downs. Like, I just got them from, like, my grandparents. But the Alvin Kamara jersey is the first jersey that I ever bought online. All right, man. So, anyways. Now let's go to this one. All right, so 2024, the New Orleans Saints announced August 23rd, open practice presented by Rouse's Market at transformed Caesars Superdome. All right, the New Orleans Saints are proud to welcome their fans back to the newly transformed Caesars Superdome for the 2024 season on Friday, August 23rd, when the final Saints open practice presented by Rouse's Markets will take place from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Gates will open to the Caesars Superdome at 6 p.m. with free parking available in the stadium's parking garages on a first-come, first-served basis. Tickets for the Saints open practice presented by Rouse's Markets are free of charge. Saints season ticket holders can register for open practice tickets during the pre-sale starting on Monday, July 29th at 9 a.m. Tickets will be available to the general public on Tuesday, July 30th at 9 a.m. Registration is limited to 6 tickets per person. Fans may also secure tickets at local Rouse's Market. And Jerry said, I just checked it out. Yeah, man, I didn't even know this was going on. I just thought it was all, like, that's also during preseason, so I'm assuming that's going to be before our last preseason game, maybe. Saints Caesars Superdome practice fan information. Caesars Superdome transformation update. The New Orleans Saints are excited to announce The transformation of the Caesars Superdome will be completed for the 2024 season. This 5-year project, a partnership between the Louisiana Stadium and Exposition District, LSED, the Saints and the state of Louisiana, with a dedicated team, have worked tirelessly day and night to transform both fan-facing areas and behind-the-scenes operations at this iconic stadium. Will meet its finish, making its debut at the August 25th preseason finale versus the Tennessee Titans. So I was correct. And the September 8th regular season opener versus the Carolina Panthers, the global unveiling of the enhanced Caesars Superdome takes place in advance of Super Bowl 59, I think it's Super Bowl 59, to be played on February 5th, 2025. Coinciding with the stadium's 50th anniversary celebration. Let's go, man. I'm all here for it. So now let's get to parking, admission information, and regulations. Parking for the open practice will be available in garages 1 and 6 free of charge in the Caesars Superdome. Parking is limited on a first-come, first-served basis. Gate B, Plaza Atrium, Gate D, Plaza Atrium, and Gate H, Plaza Atrium entrances will open at 6 p.m. Gate A ground will be open for persons with disabilities. Player autographs. Following the practice, Saints players will sign autographs for fans. Available players will sign autographs if time and other circumstances permit. Please note, however, that autographs are not guaranteed. Now, all right, still photos, video, and cameras, binoculars. Fans are welcome to take still photos at the practice. Handheld cameras are permitted for non-commercial use. Cameras' lenses cannot exceed 6 inches. Video cameras are prohibited by league rules. Stadium personnel may request at any time that you cease using those devices. All right, small cameras and binoculars will be allowed into the Caesars Superdome. Screening and prohibiting items. Fans are advised to arrive early as they will be screened and all bags will be checked by security. To ensure that fans have a safe and enjoyable visit to the practice, the following items are prohibited. Animals except service dogs assisting those with disabilities, backpack/knapsacks, banners large or in poor taste, clubs, containers of any kind except for fans with medical/dietary needs, contraband, drones, fanny packs, fireworks, glass, glitter, helium balloons, large/oversized bags. Maximum bag size is 12 inches times 6 times 12. All bags must clear. Laser pointers, noisemakers, outside food and drink, poles, projectiles, selfie sticks, bats and poles, stickers, video and audio recording devices, whistles, weapons, and any other item deemed unacceptable by the New Orleans Saints and building management. Fans are reminded to leave such items appropriately secured in their vehicles. Prohibited items that are discovered will be confiscated, disposed of, and will not be returned. Concessions. Food and beverages will be available for purchase on the concourse level. Outside food and drink are not allowed on the premises. Guests with disabilities information. Persons with disabilities are able to enter the Caesars Superdome at Gate A on the ground level and will have seating available on the plaza level. Seating will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. Anyway, so that's going to wrap up that article. All right. Now let's talk about 2024 Saints training camp. Open practice at Tulane's Yulman Stadium. But the New Orleans Saints announced August 20th, open practice presented by Entergy at Tulane's Yulman Stadium, the home of the Tulane Green Wave. Fear the Wave. The New Orleans Saints are proud to invite all fans to an open practice presented by Energy at Tulane University's Yulman Stadium on Tuesday, August 20th. Starting the final week of training camp to prepare for the Sunday, August 25th preseason finale at the Caesars Superdome, the Saints will practice at Yulman Stadium on Tuesday, August 20th, starting at 7 p.m. With Gate B opening at 6 p.m., the practice is scheduled to run from approximately 7 to 9 p.m., followed by a brief player autograph session. Tickets for the Saints open practice presented by Energy are free of charge. Okay, I believe I just read most of this, so yeah, we can skip that actually. Anyways. All right. Now let's talk about some actual football now. Okay. So Alvin Kamara, let's get back to Kamara. So Kamara reports expected to practice with Saints at start of training camp. All right. So Irvine, California. New Orleans coach Dennis Allen said running back Alvin Kamara is expected to practice when the Saints open training camp Wednesday morning. Wide receiver Chris Olave, who was placed on the non-football injury list last week, and defensive end Chase Young, who is recovering from an off-season neck procedure, are also expected to practice in some form or fashion on Wednesday, according to Allen. Kamara participated in 2 practices this offseason before leaving the final practice of mandatory minicamp for contract-related reasons, a decision that appeared to take Allen by surprise. But Kamara was with the team when off-season activities resumed this week and went through the conditioning test on Tuesday. Allen said that Kamara is fully healthy and said it's nothing that's been discussed. When asked if Kamara would sit out any part of practice due to the contract issue. Having him out there, having him practice, and having him work, I think that's beneficial for all of us. Allen said, obviously, with the new system and the new offense, that's important. I think we all understand there's a business aspect of the game of football, or to the game of football, but every indication that we've gotten is that he'll be out there or out here practicing tomorrow. Kamara, who turns 29 this week, happy early birthday, Kamara, remains the only major contract the Saints did not restructure in 2024, which leaves his salary cap figures at a team high $18.5 million. Kamara's current contract was renegotiated prior to the 2020 season after he missed 5 practices and runs through the 2025 season. Saints general manager Mickey Loomis declined to discuss specifics of any new contract negotiations or whether he had talked to Kamara's representation following minicamp. All right. I don't want to get into those kinds of conversations. It's nothing new. It's nothing about him, Loomis said. It's not one that wants to put things out or try to influence any negotiation through the media. I think if I have something to say, I say it directly to the agents and the player. If the Saints do not address Kamara's salary this year, it would likely have to be addressed next year. Kamara's cap figure, $29 million in the final year of his deal, largely due to his $22.4 million non-guaranteed base salary. I think one thing that you have to understand, and we have to understand, is that I'm going to be conservative here. I'd say 50% of our organization, players, coaches, administrators, scouts feel like they're underpaid, right? And believe they deserve, okay, thank you, headphones, and believe they deserve and want more money. And how each of us respond to that and act accordingly. Listen, it's just that a personal issue. I appreciate that he's here, Lynn said. The Saints will open training camp without veteran right tackle Ryan Ramczyk, who will not play this year after the Saints placed him on the season-ending reserve/physically unable to perform list. Ramczyk is dealing with cartilage problems in his knee that date to the 2021 season, And yeah, I think the 2021 season was one of his better seasons. That's kind of weird. One of the things that doesn't get talked about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dad's here in this thing. In fact, I mean, yeah. Yeah. What's good, Pop? Yeah. All right. Back to this. So one of the things that doesn't get talked. Chill. One of the things that doesn't get talked about is how often he went out there without being 100%. And just given everything he's got, I know how badly he wants to play. And if there was any possible, he would be playing, Loomis said. I just appreciate how much he's contributed to our team and hopeful that things can turn around. And with a year off, that his knee responds and he can get back out here for us. Yeah. Yeah. The Hurricane Mike Show, Monday, 4 p.m. is when my dad will be making his return. And it's been like he hasn't been on the show in like a week, and yet it's felt like a year. Like, that's how far it's been. Yeah. All right, so Allen said all parties involved initially felt optimistic about Ramchik's progress following a procedure on his knee in the early part of the offseason. But Allen said when the knee did not respond to the surgery as everyone hoped, it became clear that playing in 2024 was unlikely. Yeah, Ramczyk is obviously out for the season. That kind of sucks. You never want to see that happen. Even if he's not on my favorite team, you still. But man, like that man was on a Hall of Fame level. Like a Hall of Fame man. We had the best offensive tackle duo in the NFL at one point, with Ron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk. But Armstead, he started getting hurt, he started getting old. And Ramczyk just started regressing, started getting hurt. All right, thanks, headphones. All right. Freaking dying on me. Anyways, I think we got to a point where it was pretty obvious in terms of his mindset being able to play, Allen said. And I think once the player comes to the realization that, I don't think I'm going to be ready, then I think it just made sense for us to go ahead and make the move. Allen said that Ramczyk was disappointed but overall at peace with sitting out the season, but did not close the door on his playing career. I think we're going to leave all options open, Allen said. I don't think anything past this season is off the table. Now, I agree. Look, I won't be shocked. Look, I will be rooting for Ramczyk. I'll be rooting for Ramczyk to play again. I'll be rooting for him. Yeah, I'll be rooting for Ramczyk. So now Jeff Duncan said a broom brawl and water slide mishap highlights Saints training camp memories. Well, now I'm interested. All right, never mind. Now I can't be interested because I got to pay $1. You ain't getting no dollar out of me. All right. Now, Saints running back Alvin Kamara in attendance for training camp. Alvin Kamara is not satisfied with his contract status, but he will not engage in a holdout during training camp. The Saints running back has reported with the rest of the team's veterans, per Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football. All right, players not on rookie contracts are subject to $50K in mandatory daily fines if they hold out. As a result, it comes as no surprise Kamara has elected to attend training camp as he continues to seek a new or reworked deal. He could nevertheless engage in a hold-in by declining to participate in on-field work. The soon-to-be 29-year-old walked out of the final practice during minicamp, a move known to be tied to his financial situation. Kamara has 2 years remaining on his pact but the scheduled 2025 compensation includes a non-guaranteed 2020 $22.5 million base salary. The coming campaign is therefore, for all intents and purposes, his walk year. Yeah, you don't want to see that happen. Team and player are not believed to be close to walking on an agreement, and if that remains the case through the starter's training camp, Kamara may very well elect to stay off the field. The five-time Pro Bowler maintained his record of topping 1,100 scrimmage yards each year of his career in 2023, despite missing the first three games of the campaign through suspension. He is positioned to once again handle lead back duties in 2024. Given the nature of the veteran running back market, though, even a strong season could make it difficult for Kamara to land another lucrative pack. The former third rounder is open to incentives being added to his current deal, rather than an extension keeping him in place beyond 2025. It will be interesting made in the coming days with respect to a resolution being found. Yep. Is that it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it for that. Anyways, alright guys, we have 14 minutes left of the stream. I hope everybody likes the stream. Anyways. Alright. Now we got something by Fox Sports. The Beach League, where you got Cowboys, Chargers, Rams, Raiders, and Saints training in LA area. Seeing sunny skies, milder temperatures, and the serene beaches of Southern California, 5 NFL teams are holding training camp in the greater Los Angeles area for the first time in league history. The Rams opened training camp at Loyola Marymount for the first time in franchise history, moving from the team's former site at UC Irvine. The Chargers will hold camp at the team's new headquarters in El Segundo. The Dallas Cowboys are back in Oxnard for the 18th season since 2001. The New Orleans Saints, with a new cafeteria under construction at the club's permanent facility at Metairie, Louisiana, will use the Rams' former spot at UC Irvine. Finally, the Las Vegas Raiders return to Los Angeles for training camp at Jack Hammett Sports Complex in Costa Mesa, the Chargers' former home. The Raiders played in LA from 1982 to 1994, winning a Super Bowl after the 1983 season and building a significant fan presence in LA along the way. Las Vegas general manager Tom Telesco served as GM for the Chargers for 11 seasons, so he's very familiar with the Costa Mesa venue. These 5 teams are starting practice within a 100-mile radius in Southern California this week. According to the Los Angeles Times, a 6th NFL team explored holding a future training camp at the Rams' former headquarters of Cal Lutheran University in Thousand Oaks. Having multiple teams in one area harkens back to a time when several NFL teams traveled to Wisconsin to get away from the heat. In addition to the Green Bay Packers, the group of teams in the so-called Cheese League included the Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, Kansas City Chiefs, and Jacksonville Jaguars and Saints, reaching a high mark of 6 teams in 1995. The new group of teams in Los Angeles has conjured up a new nickname, the Beach League. Only 7 of all 32 NFL teams will hold training camp at a different site than their team's headquarters this year. That's in stark contrast to decades past. In 2001, just 5 teams held training camp at headquarters. So what has changed over the years? For one, teams have altered what they want to get done during training camp. Players work out year-round and no longer need a boot camp style schedule of 2 days in blistering heat to work themselves back into shape after their off-season slumber. What they do in training camp is so different than what they did in the 1960s, for sure, said NFL historian Joe Horrigan, who served as a ball boy for the Buffalo Bills in 1968 and 1969. It was one thing to go to training camp together, but they ate meals together in the school cafeteria. It was like military life. You could do everything at the same time, and it forms a bond. That's what training camp was like. It was regimented. Former Raiders CEO Amy Trask echoed Horrigan's thoughts, saying training camps overseen by legendary owner Al Davis held away from the facility in Napa, and when the team was in Los Angeles in Oxnard, developed chemistry and brought teams together. Al Davis was one of the team owners that expressed to me that he thought there was a value to going away, Trask said. He felt that when you go away to training camp, there's more intense focus. You're away at this site, you are focused on training camp and training camp only, far more than you may be if you stay at the primary facility. Now NFL owners prefer training camps at team headquarters to reduce cost and increase revenue from big crowds. Players also get the benefit of all the amenities that the team headquarters provide, including a weight room, training facility, and indoor practice facilities in case weather is an issue. However, the enticement for teams like the Cowboys, Saints, and Raiders to train in Los Angeles is a break from sweltering heat in their home cities. They have access to the beach and what LA has to offer on off days, as well as an opportunity to schedule joint practices with other teams. With more teams choosing not to risk playing foundational players in preseason games, joint practices have become a way for teams to get competitive work done against an opposing squad. The Rams' Sean McVay is one head coach who has eschewed playing starters in preseason games to avoid significant injuries to frontline players, choosing instead to play them in the most controlled environment at joint practices. McVay said the Rams will scrimmage twice across the crosstown rival Chargers, once against the Cowboys and once on the road before LA's final preseason game against the Houston Texans. To get 4 opportunities and never have to go back-to-back, that's a big deal, McVay said. Just like their Super Bowl, they never went back-to-back. There was always kind of a little give and take based on if you play that team in the upcoming season. Fortunately, all those teams we don't, with the exception of obviously Houston. We will play them in the preseason, but it's a totally different approach. It's great for this area. Obviously, the weather and the settings and surroundings a lot for a great training camp, and we're looking forward to being able to go to LMU this year. While the Rams and Chargers have been hospitable, they also want to protect their home turf, which is understandable. Both teams are paying $650 million in relocation fees to play in Los Angeles after the team went 20 years without an NFL team. Rams owner Stan Kroenke paid $5 billion to house both the Rams and the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Further, both teams have spent big to build new permanent headquarters, so it makes sense that they would want protection for their investment. Chargers CEO Fred Maz indicated during the opening of his team's new facility in El Segundo a few weeks ago that the Bolts are more focused on their standing in Los Angeles than on others joining them. I'm just terribly excited about the Chargers and what we're doing here, Moss said. Our only regret is that we couldn't have 20,000 people here a day, every day at training camp. I think if we opened it up for 20,000, we'd probably fill the place. No, you wouldn't. But we're all excited from our coaches and ownership. Dude, there's not even 20,000 Chargers fans in the world. I'm just saying that. But we're all excited from our coaches and ownership down to our players. Everybody's excited about seeing this place. The Chargers headquarters come to fruition. According to NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy, each NFL team has an exclusive home territory extending 75 miles in all directions from the exterior corporate borders of the city in which it is located. If another club holds its preseason training camp within that exclusive territory, then it cannot be marketed locally. Because of that, the Raiders will limit training camp attendees to select VIPs, season ticket holders, sponsors, and invited guests. While the Saints training camp practices will not be open to the public, neither team can advertise nor promote its presence in the LA market. The Cowboys are grandfathered in because they were holding training camp in the areas well before the Rams and Cowboys return to Los Angeles and can therefore market their team and entertain fans at their facility in Oxnard. I don't speak for them, Rams and Chargers. I'm not putting words in their mouths, but it would strike me that they can't be thrilled that 2 additional teams are coming in, Trask said. That said, Raiders fans are going to love the fact that the Raiders are here. And I love when Raiders fans are happy. Eric D. Williams has reported on the NFL for more than a decade, covering the Los Angeles Rams for Sports Illustrated, the Los Angeles Chargers for ESPN, and the Seattle Seahawks for the Tacoma News Tribune. Follow him. Okay, I don't have Twitter. My bad. Alright, so that's that. Alright. Now we're probably going to do one more article before we hang it up. Saints Alvin Kamara on reporting the training camp despite ongoing desire for a new contract. I ain't stupid. Alright, Kamara, who's 28, has 2 seasons left on a 5-year extension signed in 2020. A month after skipping the end of mandatory minicamp for what his agent called a contract-related issue, New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara reported Tuesday for the start of training camp. Kamara, who's 28, has 2 seasons left on a 5-year contract extension he signed in 2020 and remains one of the NFL's highest paid at his position. But there isn't much guaranteed money left on his deal. The Saints, for example, could release the Pro Bowler after 2024 and save close to $19 million per over the cap. The running back had a simple reason why he reported. In his words, he's not stupid and doesn't want to be fined. I ain't stupid, Kamara said Wednesday. I ain't gonna give the money up. I'm trying to get some money, right? I was gonna be here. This happens all across the league. It's happened here. It's happened everywhere. People trying to get contracts, trying to get paid. I'll be a fool to spite my teammates because of a dispute I'm having with upstairs. I wouldn't even call it a dispute. We're just having conversations about compensation. I'm not that guy. I'm for the team. So I'm here. I'm doing what I've got to do. I'm working. We can expect Kamara to keep showing up, as he says he'll practice and play even if there's no commitment to years after. Despite Kamara reporting to camp, the 2 sides don't appear close to a new deal, NFL media reports. Kamara says there hasn't been too many really meaningful conversations regarding a new deal. For now, the former Offensive Rookie of the Year is due $18.5 million in 2024 and still averages more per year earnings than any running back except for San Francisco 49ers centerpiece Christian McCaffrey. The latter just signed a new contract this offseason that makes him the top earner at the position. Kamara has been one of the league's most dynamic dual threats when healthy, securing at least 80 receptions in each of his first 4 seasons. He's missed multiple games due to injury or suspension in 4 of the last 5 years. However, averaged a career low 3.9 yards per carry in 2023. Anyway, so that's all I got for y'all today. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave y'all. So first, let's give out the shout outs. Alright, so shout out to Jerry G, Jalen, Red Swarm, my dad, and yeah, shout out to y'all for coming through. I'll leave y'all as always with the Who Dat, and don't be a Falcons fan.